Hello, America. So today I wanted to talk about I read all my comments and stuff, and I know a lot of comments I get I don't reply to, and it's not because I didn't read it. It's just that obviously I can't respond to every comment. But I found one. Sometimes I get one that just really sticks with me, and I think about it a lot, and then I feel like I need to address it. And I got a comment from Darshell B. And it says, "You're not all the way free in your mind. You're still coming out of it." Um, and it really stuck with me because I thought about it, for a while, and I I thought, she's right. Um, I'm still growing. I learn something new every day, and I'm constantly self-evaluating and self-analyzing, and I'm on my journey. I'm on a journey of discovery, and I think no one that is walking this earth is completely free. Um, I don't try to say like I don't totally know exactly what she meant by it. So if you're watching this video, if you could care to kind of elaborate what you meant by excuse me, I'm just gonna what you meant by I'm not all the way there. Um, what I got it as is I'm not um I don't know. But I know I'm not complete. I know that I have a lot to learn. And Black people in general have a lot to learn. We've all been conditioned to believe certain things, and certainly certain things about white people. I constantly remind people that we are living in a system of global terrorism. White supremacy is global terrorism. And with terrorism, there's a lot of mental and psychological damage that goes along with that. I think Black people and white people, everyone thinks that since slavery ended, that we're not still living with the mental consequences and the psychological consequences that came along with being stolen from your home, from your land and your country. Just because that wasn't done directly to me as an individual and other Black people directly to them, we are still suffering on a daily basis from the consequences of that terrorist act. No, and with that, we're still dealing with the constant terrorist acts that are being stored upon us. So for anyone to be complete and whole person while they're still living in a war zone is impossible. That psychological war, that psychological terrorism is something that it's going to take everybody like a long time to get over. You're not even going to get over it all. You can just hope to deal with it and learn from it and get insight. And that's where I think I am right now. I'm in a point where I'm getting insight. When I do videos because I feel strongly about something that was just came into my mind and came into my heart, and I felt deeply moved by it, and I felt like I really needed to say something, which is even with this video. um I want to talk about um some of the psychological warfare that is done and that is continuously done today, is the brainwashing of Black people and white people to think that white people or a particular white person or God will come to save Black people. We are told on a consistent basis that slavery was ended by white people, that white people fought on this in the Civil War to end slavery. And this is what we're told, and it's shoved in our head, and on a consistent basis for a reason. And I think us having to sit back and look at that and ask ourselves, why are they telling us, why are they trying to make us believe that a white person ended slavery? Why are they trying to get us to believe that if we just sit there, not even right now, let's say we're to believe that the victims of slavery were being terrorized for hundreds of years, which we all know, but it did not end because white people decided that what they were doing was wrong. It ended because Black people found unity and they stood up for themselves and they started to revolt and they started to fight back and they started to um, demand their freedom. And with the brainwashing that they're giving Black people, is that didn't happen. If they're telling us that's not what happened, you guys weren't smart enough and didn't have enough unity to get together and to revolt and to say this is enough. You had to wait for some white savior to come say what you're doing is wrong, and then other white people stood up and said, oh yeah, I see this is wrong too, let's end it. That didn't happen. That's not the reality. But the reality is, if we allow white supremacy to keep pumping in our children's heads that these people saved them, that Abraham Lincoln is their hero, again, you are now worshiping a white savior. I know this upsets people, but that white Jesus that you're putting all your entire being into, you're on your knees and taking this and doing rituals and with the baptism and stuff. That's the biggest thing you could possibly do. You're giving your soul to white supremacy. You're now not just giving the responsibility of your life to white supremacy, but now your afterlife and your soul, your very being. And I think this goes back to when Black people were taken out of Africa, and the religion was whatever religion Africans had, voodoo, um, and whatnot, was stripped away, and you are now given this Christianity. And with that Christianity, you yourself, when you're being baptized and you're baptizing your children, we are giving our children's souls away and your children's souls away. And I don't understand why, if we can believe that you have a soul and that you have energy and that you don't completely die, then I think that we really need to realize that all of the stuff that our ancestors were put through, all of the negativity and the energy and the all of the mental anguish, we're still dealing with today, because I believe that we inherited all of that too, all of that pain, all of that turmoil, all of the not I'm losing my track, but I do believe that we're still, I mean, when we're giving ourselves away and our ancestors gave themselves to white people, not themselves as in their body, but their mind and their spirit, and they're still, white supremacy is still holding on um to black minds. And it's, I think it's coming from a lot of different places. We're being held back from a lot of different angles. And I think the biggest one that I think right now my purpose is, I'm not where I'm going to be in a year from now. Not mentally, not physically, not spiritually. I'm not going to be there. But as Black people, we need to start growing together. And I'm not upset about criticism. I welcome criticism that's constructive. And um, I really think as Black people, we need to stop jumping on other Black people for not being where we think they should be, because none of us have lived in the other person's lives. We all go down our own journey, and we all have our own feelings and stuff that we've seen, and aha moments where we realize something that we feel is wrong, or something that we feel needs to be further um, investigated. Um, but right now, the biggest thing that white supremacy is holding on to manipulate us right now is our minds. And we, as a person, I'm really digging into what they're teaching our children, because I have a child and I want to be able to combat any um, lies or false idols like Benjamin Franklin and Thomas Jefferson and Christopher Columbus. But we need to realize the psychological damage that that does to us as people. We don't even notice. Like, when it dawned on me, it really did, when I read that, for some reason, that comment that I'm not where I need to be. I'm thinking about, okay, well, maybe I'm not, but why am I not? What in my psyche is holding me back from being wherever I need to be? Which I don't feel like ever I'm going to get to a point where I'm just like, this is where I need to be. I'm fully grown. I've learned as much as I can learn, because at that point, then I will probably be dead. But I can analyze myself and look at why I think the way I do. And this false heroizing of white people, this false notion that a white person will someday come save us, that is our poison. And I'm not saying that I have that mindset, because I don't. I've never really thought that white people were going to save us. I've always argued that, but the way I've grown up, where I've grown up, the schools that I've gone to, and the people that I've been around is not the same situation that majority of Black Americans um, have grown up or in the schools. But we need to realize, even when you think that your kid goes to a Black school where there's 99% Black students, and there can even be 99% Black teachers, but you need to realize that your kid is still getting the same white supremacist education. The curriculum is the same. What they're telling your children is the same. They're still pushing this white person saved Black people from slavery, and it's not true. And I think when we all realize, the reason I feel like that's important is because when Black people realized that it was Black people that ended slavery, that Black people united, that Black people stood up and said no more. That wasn't them. That was us. And I think when we start to realize that, and it's a gradual process. It's not going to happen overnight. And I wish it was. And I pray to the universe that I am still alive to see that happen. I pray that I leave this earth knowing that my son will not live under white supremacist terrorism. But it is a gradual process, because when people are brainwashed for centuries, from generation to generation to generation to generation to generation, and they're brainwashed and told that white people are their savior, and if they just keep praying and keep going to church and stay out of white people's way, and get educated, and it's always something that if we just live up to white people's expectations just a little better, that one will come save us. And I think we look at that in religion, in political situations, in you know in everyday life situations. A white person is not going to save us. That's not how it works. If we want more progress, then we have to take more progress. That's what it's going to take. It's not going to take some white president, Democrat. That's not going to happen. It's just not. It's not going to take white people marching up and down the street holding a Black Lives Matter flag. That isn't going to do anything for us. When we unite, then we will see change. When we unite and we make change, then we will get change. Then we will see change. One of the first things we need to take back is our minds. And that is a gradual process. This is truly how I feel, and I'm pretty sure I'm right on this, but if you were to take every Black person in America, and just dump everything that they've been lied to about, just dump it out on them and show them your entire existence is a lie, a lot of people won't be able to handle that. They just won't. It will be overwhelming. And for me, on a daily basis, I'm overwhelmed by some of the stuff that I learn, but I continue to search for that knowledge. And that's what we have to do as Black people. We need to continue to search for knowledge, not criticize our other Black people, not put them down, not tell them they're not where they need to be. Guide, give information. That's what I'm doing. That's what I feel I can do. We need to free our minds, and when we do that, that's when we get more power. As soon as we get our minds back and we know who we are and we know where we came from, that's when we will have our power back. And that's when we can stand up. And that's when we will unite. And that's when we will free ourselves from this global white supremacist terrorism. But it's a process. And I wish it could happen overnight, and I wish I could be exactly what every one of you that watch my videos, I wish I could be exactly where you think I should be, but that's just not reality. It's not. And if you're at a point where you think that you are at the height of your life and you know everything, then you need to reevaluate things, because you can always be learning something. You can always be doing something better. And really want to see us realize that we are the soldiers that we need. I know with everything in my heart that as soon as Black men, I I know that everything and it I know that everything will change as soon as Black men wake up. Like, That's what I need to see. And I'm going to do my part, and that's what I can do. I can continue to learn. I can continue to um try to speak the knowledge that I learn. And I really want to see things change quickly. I like, honestly, if we needed to go to war today, I'm putting my son somewhere where he can be safe, and I'm there because I'm ready. And that's what we need. We need people that are ready. So I don't, like, people can think, oh, I'm not saying as much hateful stuff about white people as I need to, but I feel like I know what the problem is. I don't feel like I think white people are um great or fantastic. Honestly, in general, I think they're horrible. Horrible, deplorable, like, I don't want to even say animals, because animals don't do the shit that they do. There's no words. I can't find words for it, and I can't find understanding for it. I can't make it seem logical. I can't. So I know that white people are the problem. We need to find a solution. That's what we need to do. And I think we need to take some of our attention away from letting white people just be in our heads. If we're constantly thinking about white people, well, we know white people are the problem. So let's get together and, I don't say eradicate the problem, but we definitely need to end this terrorism. Like, we need to realize that we are at war. We are at war with terrorists. We are with global terrorists, and that's what we're dealing with. And I know that. I'm quite clear. That is, I've, like, no doubts about that. No one needs to convince me anymore. I know that people think, well, because I've dated white guys and I have, my sons have white, that somehow I'm not there. I'm not awake. I can't possibly, speak on white supremacy. Well, you know what? I understand white supremacy quite a bit more than people that are not around white people. So I think my understanding of white supremacy and white psychology and the way they think and act, I have quite a bit of knowledge of that. And I think having knowledge of how they are is very important, because I know that I can sit across from a white person that is being as nice as possible with the biggest smile on their face and know that they are full of shit. I can do that. So, like, make no mistake, I know what we're dealing with. All I can say is, like, just keep educating yourself. If you have children and they are in this school system, please re-educate them every day that they come home, because they're always being taught something white supremacist. This white supremacist agenda. They try to get right into those little kids' head right while they're developing. They really do, so that it is second nature. It's when your mind is warped and your mind has this layer of white supremacy on it, because it's kind of like that. It's kind of like a Reynolds wrap, the clear wrapping that's just like wrapped around your entire brain, and this wrapping it is white supremacy, and you don't see it and you don't know, because that's just your reality. Your reality is that, and I'm not saying to say that you're walking around saying, "Oh, white people are so much better than me," because it's way slicker than that. It's way slicker. You don't see it. You don't notice it. When you're bowing your head and you're praying to your white Jesus, that's it right there. That's where they get you at, because you're not realizing. And people will say, "Oh, well, my Jesus is black." well, there wasn't a Jesus in Africa. And everywhere I've gone, to every church I've gone, to every store that had religious paraphernalia, Jesus is white. He was white on everything. So when people sit there and even say that that's you, people need to realize, if you want to keep your religion or whatever, keep it, but realize that when you're bowing your head and you're praying to Jesus, you are helping their white supremacist agenda. When you're telling your kids to pray to Jesus, you are helping their white supremacist agenda. You're helping white supremacist terrorism. That is what you're doing. And I know most people do not want to hear that, but that is the truth. It's scary to step away from religion. It is. But that should tell you that it's the right thing to do. Anything that white people gave us, we need to give them back. So when they came giving, black people smallpox and all kinds of diseases, let's just give them their diseases back. Their mind diseases, their body diseases, their all of it. Just give it back to them. And then we can look back and see who we are. And that's where my journey is. I want to know who I am. And white supremacist terrorism is distracting me from that. It's stopping me from figuring out who I am. So no, I am not all the way there, and I won't be all the way there for a very long time. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe.